What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with the overall market thus far. I'm also going to talk about the economic calendar, what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and all these different tickers, and how things are looking in my personal opinion when it comes to the market and the overall trend that's developing. But before I begin the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, deposit $100, you are guaranteed 7 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon in just about 16 hours from now. So the offer is going to end today. Check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening to the market. So looking at the data for the markets, I just want to call out that most of the data is out so far, but at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a bunch of bill auctions coming out and note auctions. So we'll see if this causes any moves. And besides that, we just have another batch of Fed speakers as we have Cook and Daly giving some speeches. That is pretty much it for today. Some more bill and note auctions and then some Fed speakers, and that is it. Watch for some volatility in about 30 minutes at 8:30 a.m. or I'm sorry, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 8:30 for me since I'm on the West Coast. But anyways, that's what's happening at least thus far for the markets. So when it comes to data and such, that's pretty much it. Now for SPY, you could argue we have a head and shoulders like structure on the 5 minute. I wouldn't necessarily solely trade based off that. In fact, I would look at bigger time frames and other indicators when it comes to determining how things could end up moving. But one thing worth noting, let me actually pull up the daily chart quickly first. You'll notice that we're doing something very similar to what happened historically. So, we had this bearish engulfing candle on Thursday. It's a very, very bearish looking candlestick. We pumped up a little bit. Now we're starting to show signs of a rejection. And we have this gap down here. So it makes me suspect that this, SPY is showing some weakness and it could lead to some more downside later on if we end up getting that rejection. But like I said earlier, we had a similar move right here. This bearish engulfing candlestick, we came up a little bit more, then we started to dip lower. And that happened many times in the chart historically. I showed you guys that over the weekend. Not going to go over everything, but I just wanted to call that out on the bigger time frames. Now, for the smaller time frames, I'm going to pull up the hourly time frame. SPY's been shuffling a lot today, but I do see some signs of weakness. So right here, this pump right here is the all-time high. This was on Thursday. We hit a new all-time high thanks to Nvidia's earnings before the market started to dump a bit. So this all-time high, if we do hypothetically get a big pump, if SPY starts pumping again and we break past 534, I will turn back to bullish, and we could be looking for a move all the way back up to 540. If we continue to fall and we reject right here, watch 529. That's the level I calculated. If we lose 529, this is going to be dipping all the way down to at least 527.5 or lower, and there's going to be a bigger dip coming. As of right now, we're kind of shuffling in this area, but what is looking more probable is this, that we have a high right here. We came down, and we might be establishing a lower high for a possible rejection, and this is going to start to see some downside as we have imbalances to fill. And we might get a retest of our 200 EMA at the very least. Don't forget, we also have that gap all the way down at 523. So it makes me suspect there might be some more downside coming. I find that to be a bit more probable, but always be prepared for anything in the market. It's a very tricky market. Even I could be wrong sometimes. So make sure you're always open-minded and very adaptive. But just know that right now the chart looks more bearish. It looks like we have a high here. We came down, made a lower high, and we're going to continue to start dipping a bit over here. We also came very close to our key Fibonacci retracement areas, our key Fib levels on this pump. And now there is a risk of this dipping even more. So watch that 529 support, lose that on SPY, then we're going to be dipping even lower. And then that's when we're going to open up for more different levels. So lose 529, we have 528 to 527.5 next, 526, 525, and the list goes on to 522. All right. For Tesla, Tesla's also in a very, very interesting place. If you look at Tesla, you could argue, some people could argue we have like a head and shoulders. I wouldn't really go that route. I would say this. When you look back at the chart, notice that Tesla loves, okay, let's actually hide these indicators. We love to get bought up at 172 to 173, and we love to get rejected around 180 to 182. That's what Tesla loves to do. It's been doing that for the last 4 weeks. Besides some exceptions, such as us dipping a little bit lower, getting one little pop above it before coming back. But for the most part, Tesla is range bound. With that being said, Tesla has resistance currently around this 176 zone. That's where our EMAs happen to be on the 30 minutes time frame. And our support is currently at 173 to 172. So I suspect Tesla's just going to be range bound. That's what I think Tesla's going to do. You could see today it kind of like popped and retested our EMAs and came back down. Now it's just rebounding. So we have support at 175 and then 173 to 172. We have resistance currently at 176.7, 177.5, and then also at 180. I favor that there's going to be a risk of some downside coming a little bit more. So Tesla is showing a little bit of weakness, in my personal opinion. But overall, despite it, potentially dipping a little bit more, it's still range bound. The range is still holding for the time being. If we were to lose 172, it would, it could be dipping all the way down to 168. But I'm not really seeing that right now at the time I'm recording this. I just see it kind of remaining range bound. So that's all I'm seeing for Tesla. For Nvidia is pumping very nicely, but we have this resistance level I marked. 1120 to 1125 is the resistance on Nvidia. If we reject here, we're going to be dipping all the way down to where our previous resistance was. So 1100 is going to be the next target if we do get a rejection there. If we break this, we'll be pumping all the way up to about 1140. Overall, there's a dip of this. There's a risk of this dipping a little bit lower to retest this area, so I'll be watching for that. But overall, it's still holding up relatively well compared to the market. Nvidia is still very strong. So could we get a little retracement? We sure could. We could actually retest this level. But then overall, Nvidia is still strong. Bitcoin is dipping a bit. I'm going to be looking at the support right here at this 67,500 area. If we do lose that, we're going to be dipping all the way down to about 67,000 flats. That's where the next support is going to be. For resistance, watch 68,300, and then basically 69,000 above that. Or I'm sorry, 68,600, then 69,000. But overall, like I said, Bitcoin is looking a little bit more bearish, so I'll give that some time. Could dip a bit more. For the QQQ, just like SPY, we're showing some signs of weakness. It's not as weak as SPY because of the fact that overall Nvidia is pumping. It's still holding this up. So Nvidia and Aapl are the main reasons why this is holding up. We had this high right here at 461. We came down at a lower high. So we could continue to fall if we lose our 50 EMA. So watch supports currently at 458. If we lose that, I'll be watching 457. Lose 457, then this is going to be dipping all the way down to 455. And we have a gap to fill at 453. For resistance, make sure you watch 460 to 461. If we break the all-time high, yes, we could pump more, but there's, it's not guaranteed. And there is a dip of this potentially dipping even lower. So I do think that the QQQ could dip lower. I think 457 is a level worth watching, and there is a risk of us falling more. But I'll be watching to see how this ends up moving forward, and to be very, very open-minded nonetheless. So make sure you watch it, see if we break the all-time high or not, but there is a risk of downside. Aapl, from the bearish divergence, came up to only just pop and drop. It did fail to hold these higher levels, and now we returned all the way back down to about 191. I'll be watching 190.5 as support, and then we have resistance around 192. 192 flat is basically our resistance. We're kind of stuck right now. There is a risk of this dipping a little bit lower. If we lose 190.5, we could be dipping even lower. But I just want to say overall that Aapl is once again showing some weakness. If we lose 190.5, I will turn a bit more bearish. Otherwise, it's just kind of shuffling for now. So that's what I'm seeing on the charts. And then besides that, for a few more, the IWM, I told you yesterday I might be retesting 207 and then maybe rejecting. Exactly as predicted. We did call this out yesterday, right? 207 did get touched, and we got a rejection off that. That is what is most likely the case. We could get a follow-through move lower as there is a possible rejection. For a few more, we have Amazon. Amazon hits 180 as predicted. Notice that it didn't break that. If we had lost 180 and continued to fall for at least 2-3 hours, then yes, I would turn more bearish for 178. Instead, we got some buyers defending it at 180, pushing it back up to our 50 EMA at 181.8. So it might just continue to remain range bound. And that's the same thing with Meta. Meta has so the issue with Meta is this: there's a possible head and shoulders that's still valid. To be bullish, you want to see it break 482. To be bearish, you want to see it basically lose 472. Otherwise, we're just kind of shuffling for now. But there is a head and shoulders. There's a risk of it dipping. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. There's no confirmation that's truly collapsing or anything like that. We're still above our 50 EMA around 472. So give it some time. If we lose that, I do think there's a risk of some downside. Anyways, that's it. Should I go over AMC and GameStop real quick? I'll probably just do that. GameStop is showing some life, but I want to see it break past 24. If you could hold 24, close above that, I'm going to be looking for a rally back up to the 30s over the next couple of weeks. Of course, it's not going to happen overnight. And for AMC, there's a nice bullish pattern developing. We have a nice accumulation. I've been saying this for the past week, guys. AMC is looking bullish to me. Nice accumulation. There's going to likely be a push to the upside in the month of June to July, back up to 7 at least. I do favor that a bit more. Anyways, that is it for the video. SPY is showing a little bit of weakness. It's currently at 529.5. Make sure you watch that 529 level, and we'll see how things go. Once again, guys, the Moomoo link offers The Moomoo link offer is going to end today, so please check it out before they run out. Anyways, that is it for the video. I really appreciate every single one of you guys for watching this video. I'll see you guys very, very soon on the next one. Thank you so much, and peace out.